You know, I look back on photos of myself when I'm in my 20s, and I remember thinking, like, I'm not this enough or that enough. And I thought, gosh, that's such a waste of time and energy.
Hi, welcome to Pwrmums podcast. Today we are joined by Nic from Nic Imai Photography. Welcome to the podcast, Nic.
Thank you, Kat. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we're very happy. And so you started your photography business in circuit breaker?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I had done, like, you know, all my portfolio work and everything the year prior, actually. Luckily, I feel now. So I was all really ready to launch, and that was the plan. And then a lot of things happened between my mother passing November 2019, and then everything happening, you know, with virus and things. And then I think the original plan was to wait until, you know, we knew more what was happening after lockdown and everything. But then I was like, you know, people are on their phones right now, and this is really the perfect time for people to get to know me, for people to see my work. And so I thought, why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyone that had an iPhone, I think, saw that their little screen time passive-aggressive messages from Apple just like shot through the roof, because everyone's on social media.
Exactly. So actually I thought this is perfect. And then, you know, once we opened up, I think it was phase 2, wasn't it? Which was June. I thought, well, we'll see, really, you know, and I'll just be diligent with posting and making sure that people get to know me through my posts. And, you know, I've been incredibly fortunate because I've had, you know, considering the year that we've had, I've had a good number of inquiries, and been capturing just wonderful families and couples. So,
And you're part Swedish?
Yes, I'm half Swedish. My dad's Swedish, and then half Japanese.
Half Japanese,
yeah.
Wow.
I go by Nic Imai Photography, and the reason it's Imai is because that's my mum's surname. And I knew already before I launched, actually, and while I was creating my portfolio and things, that I wanted to go with my mother's surname. I didn't want to go with my family name.
Saul's husband.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I just wanted something that was really mine, and that decision kind of it became even more special because then my mother passed, and I felt like this is like unknowingly it was sort of like a dedication towards her.
Yeah.
So
like a legacy.
Yes, exactly.
And so you don't just shoot any old thing. You have your own kind of style, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what's your style?
So my style is. Are you talking about shooting style or editing style or both?
Both. Okay, shooting style.
Okay,
and then fashion style.
Okay. Well, shooting style, it's definitely very natural, sort of in the moment, candid shots. Obviously, when I do families, you know, I know that families want that, and I would as well, you know, getting my own family photographed, you know, you want that, everyone looking at the camera kind of thing. But then also just the very, very candid ones, and especially the close-up ones, those are really my favorite. Sort of like that you happen to be there and you're peeking in on a moment.
Yeah.
So I love that kind of style. And then when it comes to the editing, it's I describe it as clean, light, and vibrant.
Okay.
Which I think, is evident through my work, really.
Everything looks very fresh.
Yeah, thank
certainly
you.
on your page as well. It all, like, from an aesthetics point of view.
Yeah.
Like, that's really
And you know, photography is so subjective. So you know, it really depends on your own personal style. Like I can appreciate all kinds of photography, like even the moodier edits. And I can see one of those images and think, oh wow, that's so beautiful. But I know that it's not something that I would want to create, you know. And actually, speaking on that subject, I have actually turned clients away when they have wanted a moodier edit.
Yeah.
Because I think there might be this misconception that because you're a photographer, you're able to do everything, you know. And yeah, I probably would be able to, but it's not where my expertise lies. and it's not where I've spent countless hours, you know, editing and really like refining my my style. So in those instances, I'm honest and I say, you know, I'm not going to be able to deliver I'm not going to be able to deliver this type of images that you're looking for. And then I'm always happy to refer people. In fact, I try to look for people that I can refer people onto so that they have one less thing sort of, you know.
That's true. And they know if a photographer is recommending someone, then you know that you'll feel quite confident to go there. Yeah. And when you ever, as very much not a professional photographer, but sometimes, you know, when you're taking a photo and you're like, nailed it. You get that as a professional, you're like, that's the one.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely, for sure. Yeah, and then you also have the ones where like, okay, that one might not make it to the gallery, kind of thing, you know. Yeah, definitely.
Especially working, as you said, with families and toddlers and non-obedient children.
Yes, exactly.
And parents probably too.
Yeah, no, I mean, the family shoots are, I mean, I do have an idea, and I have sort of a mental list of the shots that I want to get, but I keep it very fluid because, especially when working with younger children, you know, it really, you just have to be flexible and you kind of have to follow them, you know. But often, you know, oftentimes you get such amazing images that you actually hadn't even planned for, so it kind of balances out.
I think I read that you love breastfeeding shoots.
I do, yeah. And the funny thing is, I feel every time I do a different type of shoot, so when I do a breastfeeding one or a maternity one or a couples one, every time I'm like, no, okay, this was my favorite.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it's so I can't choose really because they're just so different. I feel the moments, you know, are really different. But breastfeeding is definitely something that's close to my heart. Just because I'm a huge advocate for breastfeeding. And
I think you should, sorry to interrupt, but how long did you breastfeed your son for?
22 months.
22 months!
He didn't get the memo that we were supposed to go for 2 years at least.
Oh yeah, of course, 2 months shy.
Yeah, 2 months shy. And it was very abrupt. It was just like out of the blue.
Oh, so he just self-weaned at 22
months? He self-weaned,
yeah.
I mean, he was already decreasing. Like the day feeds were very much non-existent at that point. So it was really just before going to sleep, and actually he self-weaned right after my mother passed. So that was like really emotional because, you know, illogically in my mind I felt, oh, he doesn't need me, you know, and you're already so emotional anyway with the grief. So it wasn't. I feel like it wasn't a good time. But my husband also thinks that might have been why he did, you know, because I was not as present, perhaps, you know.
They know, don't they? I mean, they might not know exactly what's going on, but they know that there's a change. So right when I felt that I needed that extra, you know, bonding, he was just like, nope, you know. So that was a bit difficult, but my sister's a real champion because she, with her last one, she's got 3 boys. With her last one, she breastfed him for 3.5 years. Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing because it really does take it out of you, doesn't it? I know, like, I'm still breastfeeding and I'm slowly decreasing how much I breastfeed. So I know, like, it gets easier because it's not as demanding every 2 to 3 hours. But it's still kind of, it's a commitment, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And then the whole, like, I remember once he self-weaned, I was like, I didn't have to think about wearing anything that was breastfeeding friendly, you know. That was kind of like, oh, this is quite nice, you know. But
hello, actual bra.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're like, oh, my boobs are not what they
are.
were.
Yeah, very depressing.
Yeah.
But well worth it.
Yeah.
And I feel, you know, as women we can be so hard on ourselves in relation to our bodies, you know. But so in that sense I feel that I probably gave birth at a good time, at a good age, you know, because I just, you know, I'm not at all bothered by like, you know, the extra weight. I know people are going to say that there is no extra weight on me, but, you know, the extra weight or the stretch marks, right? I just feel like, you know, I grew a human, I birthed a baby, I fed a baby, you know, like it's, our bodies really do so much for us, you know, and they get so much abuse, I feel. So
and then, as you said, they get so much physical abuse, and then we give them so much of a hard time. It is an interesting process of learning just to be kind to your body.
And I just think back on you know, I look back on photos of myself when I'm in my 20s, and I was like, and I remember thinking all these things, like, I'm not this enough or that enough, or, you know, and I thought, gosh, that's such a waste of time and energy, you know. But I also think because you're at that age, you're probably not able to, you know, have the same mentality as in your 30s, perhaps, you know. And
just being comfortable in your own skin. I remember someone saying to me, you should wear a bikini because when your body will never be better than it is now. And that was at a time when my body really wasn't at its best, but like, she was right. I was like 22. Like, and but it takes a while to get there. So it's good that you're there. And your little boy isn't here at the moment, but you said he's turning 3.
Soon. End of February.
Wow. And he was born in Singapore?
Born in Singapore, made and born in Singapore. So found out with less than a month into us living here that I was pregnant with him at a pre-employment checkup.
That's how you found out?
That's how I found out.
That's great.
So I had signed the contract for the job, which was a good thing, I feel. And then it was just very weird telling my manager, you know, because I had miscarried in 2016. I knew that I didn't really want to tell anyone that I was pregnant until, you know, the first trimester was over. So it felt very weird that I had to tell him, because he would have found out anyway, because the company wanted me to do an x-ray, and then obviously because of this they didn't want to do it. And I'd rather he found out through me rather than through, you know, the medical report.
Surprise. And which hospital did you give birth in?
NUH.
NUH. We've had a few people on the podcast that have given birth in NUH. Actually, but we're not sponsored by NUH. And would you go to NUH again?
I think I would go somewhere where I would like to go to a doctor who is very pro VBAC. And it's funny because I think a second pregnancy, you know, my mind, I think I would approach it very, very differently to how I did my first, because the first time, you know, with my son, because of the previous miscarriage, you know, I was just very concerned, very worried. So I went to all the checkups and everything, whereas I think this time around I wouldn't do as many checkups, actually, even though I've had this experience. And I think I would just trust my body a lot more. Like my body would tell me if there's something going on. And I think, you know, we've come to a point in society, sadly, I want to say, in a way, where we as women have kind of lost that power and that being in touch with our bodies. You know, we're wanting to have it confirmed by someone else. And so I think
it's because society has really led us to believe that we can't give birth without intervention.
Exactly. And it's really, it's a bit absurd when you think about it, I think, because how have we survived all these millennia? I always think about that.
I know.
You know?
But then people have a counter argument to this, because I was like, people, why do we think we're so special? Women have been pushing babies out in cow huts and under trees. But as people do point out as a counter argument, there was a lot of deaths in childbirth. So intervention's amazing when it saves lives, but as you're right, for just like a run-of-the-mill standard pregnancy, there is a lot of intervention, especially in countries with private healthcare. Because the incentives are slightly different.
Exactly.
I think. Okay, so you're going to be a VBAC champion.
Well, I hope. And you know, because I've been through a birth, I mean, really, you can have a birth plan and you can have it planned into minute detail, but you know, it's one of those things that you really just
on the day will decide.
The day will and the baby will decide. You know, like it's really something that's very difficult to control. But I do think the chances increase of you having a birth that you want by being, you know, much more informed and maybe not just going through the system as much. You know.
Oh, definitely.
And then having the right support people around you.
Have you heard of Red Miller?
Yes.
Have you read her book?
Yes.
Oh, isn't it beautiful?
Yes.
Just like reading it, wiping tears away.
Yes, so that's also, I mean, her book has definitely also sort of helped influence, you know, my changing mind frame, you know, and I think sort of reclaiming a power back. And, you know, like you said, I think interventions are there for emergencies when we really need it. But I mean, giving birth isn't like, it's not a, I mean, it's something that is natural, you know, it's not a disease, or it's not a, you know, it's...
Absolutely.
Yeah.